Imagine waking up to the news that your Social Security check could stretch further, not because the government is handing you extra money, but because you get to keep more of what you already have. That's the promise of what some are calling Trump's $4,000 Social Security boost, a plan making waves across America and leaving seniors wondering whether it's really a life-changing break or just another Washington headline dressed up to sound better than it is. Here's the truth. It's not a direct deposit increase to your monthly Social Security benefits, but rather a proposed tax deduction aimed at Americans over 65 that could reduce the amount of money the IRS takes from you each year. This so-called senior bonus would allow eligible retirees to claim an additional $4,000 deduction on their taxes starting in 2025, running for several years if approved. It's part of a bigger tax package moving through Congress, and while it's being touted as relief for millions, the details reveal a more modest impact than the bold headlines suggest. The plan would work like this. If you're over 65, regardless of whether you take the standard deduction or itemize, you could lower your taxable income by an extra $4,000. That means if you owe federal taxes, you'd likely pay a little less, saving anywhere from a few $100s up to around $1,200 for a married couple filing jointly. But before you start planning to spend that money on a dream vacation, let's clear up the confusion. This isn't a check mailed by Social Security. It's not a raise in your benefit amount, and it certainly isn't a permanent fix for seniors living on tight budgets. Instead, it's a temporary tax perk written into the House version of a sweeping tax bill, running only from 2025 to 2028 unless renewed. Even then, the benefit will not reach everyone equally. Seniors with very low incomes, who already pay little or no federal tax, might see almost no change at all, while higher income retirees earning above about $75,000 for single filers or $150,000 for couples would start to see the deduction phase out entirely, meaning they'd get only a partial benefit or none at all. This is why critics argue the $4,000 boost is more marketing than miracle. It sounds like Washington is cutting a huge check, but the reality is closer to a modest tax discount. Still, for middle-income seniors, the group that often feels squeezed between paying bills and managing health care, cost the extra breathing room could help pay for groceries, utility bills, or prescription refills. The politics behind this are equally fascinating. During his 2024 campaign, Trump repeatedly promised to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits entirely, a bold pledge that resonated with older voters frustrated by paying taxes on the very benefits they earned over a lifetime of work. But when it came time to write the legislation, lawmakers didn't include a full exemption. Instead, they settled on this narrower deduction, possibly because budget rules and political negotiations made the larger promise harder to deliver. The Senate has even floated a slightly bigger idea, talking about raising the deduction to $6,000. But so far, nothing has been finalized, and the two chambers will have to hammer out a single plan before it can become law. Meanwhile, millions of seniors are left wondering, how much money would this really put back in my pocket? To put it in perspective, consider this example. A retired couple with a combined income of $50,000 might owe around $3,000 in federal taxes. A $4,000 deduction could cut their taxable income enough to save around $480 to $1,000 a year, depending on their exact situation. Helpful, yes, but far less than the $3,000 or more they might save if Social Security benefits were made completely tax-free. And for seniors who already owe almost nothing, this so-called boost is essentially meaningless. On the other hand, if you're still working part-time or have investment income on top of Social Security, this deduction could be more valuable because your taxable income is higher. That's why financial experts say this proposal benefits some seniors more than others and won't solve the larger issue of retirement security. But supporters argue it's at least a step in the right direction, proof that lawmakers are listening to the concerns of older Americans who feel forgotten when inflation drives up prices, but Social Security increases lag behind. Whether this passes as written or gets reshaped in the Senate, one thing is certain: it has stirred excitement, confusion, and political debate. Some seniors believe it's a straightforward raise in benefits, while others worry it's another temporary patch that will expire just as people start to count on it. The name Trump's $4,000 Social Security boost might sound like a permanent benefit hike, but you now know the truth. It's simply a tax deduction dressed up as something bigger. The question every retiree should ask is not just, will I get this? But also, is it enough to make a difference in my life? If your goal is to lower taxes, yes, it might help, at least for a few years. But if you're hoping for a major shift in how Social Security is taxed or paid out, this isn't it. It's also worth noting that tax policy can change quickly with elections, new budgets, and shifting priorities in Washington. So even if this deduction becomes law, its future beyond 2028 is uncertain. Lawmakers could extend it, expand it, shrink it, or let it vanish altogether, depending on political winds. For now, the best thing seniors can do is stay informed and understand what's really being offered. Don't confuse a headline with a guaranteed benefit increase. Don't assume you'll suddenly have an extra $4,000 to spend each year, because this is not a lump sum payment. It's simply a way to reduce taxable income for those who qualify. And don't forget to look closely at your own tax situation. If you're already in a low tax bracket, this may have little effect on your finances. But if you're in that middle income range, it could be a welcome bit of relief at tax time. Financial planners recommend running the numbers now so you're not caught off guard when filing your 2025 return. And remember, even modest tax deductions can be valuable if you plan carefully. The larger conversation this sparks is just as important as the deduction itself. Should America stop taxing Social Security benefits altogether?